Good evening, people. Welcome to BNR. Welcome to Red Zone as the chip sips his espresso. Sarib grabbed the water. The chip didn't like that espresso, but it might be a dodgy.
Water, mate.
Might be a dodgy blend. But welcome to the Red Zone. It's myself, Asim, Sarib, and the chip. The Cheen is table for two tonight. I think.
You're romantic.
That's it. It's got to be
the role of Shahrukh Khan tonight, huh?
It's he's building up the brownie points in the international week, and he's decided to start on a Sunday. But fair play.
Has he taken her for a donor?
A donor. I think if he took her for a donor, he would have been here by now.
He would have been receiving his marching orders.
But yeah, he's gone out for a table for two. But you've got us three. I'm sure that'll suffice tonight. With the main three anyway. But yeah, Liverpool is the two fixtures that the ones that are a bit of squeaky bum time. You'd say that all cliche is just win. Is the fixture before the international break and after the international break for different reasons, boys. But before we go into and delve into the game and talk about the different issues surrounding it coming out the match, how are you, my friends? Keeping well?
Go on, Chippy boy. You can go first.
Yeah, all good.
Oh, you know how you are.
Yeah, good. All good. Yesterday was quite a packed day. Obviously, the 4:30 kickoff for me, which is always a bit of a struggle. But I didn't drink on Friday, so I'm trying to keep sober anyway. So had enough sleep. Woke up, watched a bit of the Arsenal game, watched a bit of City, then I went back to sleep. And then there was a bit of wrestling on. Watched a bit of that, and then the UFC, which was a really good main card. But yeah, all in all, I think it was a very good weekend. And when it comes to Liverpool, top of the league, that's all we can ask for.
Top of the league, Liverpool, top of the league. Sarib, how are you feeling after this 12:30 on the Saturday afternoon? Good first half, and got a bit nervy, I thought, in the second.
But before I tell you that, Avi, you just asked how you are, mate. You didn't ask about your week. You just asked how you're doing. You just asked if you're okay. You gave a monologue about your weekend.
I've turned up, haven't I? Well, turned up. Of course I'm okay. Come on.
What? No, but you know, I'm okay. I can't really complain, to be honest. Too tough. You know me. I have lots to complain about a lot of the times, but this weekend, not too much. I'm not gonna lie. I will give some pros and cons because I always like to be the middleman, not overly biased, not overly negative. But I get called Mr. Negative. But I don't have much to bitch about tonight. Other than that, I'm good. I'm good. I know. Let's see how this goes 15 minutes into the show, innit? Well, let's see if I stick to my word.
I was just about to say, sorry. It can all change. A
know,
minute on stream is a long time.
Well, no, we're chinless today, so maybe I'll stay on my best behavior.
You never know. We might send you down some dodgy pathways where you keep on biting. But I'll start with you, the Chip. You look very relaxed. Sat there sipping your espresso. Lineup, Tsimikas caught everyone off guard.
They did. They caught a few of the big boys on Twitter off guard as well. But the less said, the better. You know what, Tsimikas? During Jurgen's tenure as well, when he had a run of games, the first two games, he would be a bit dodgy. He would make some mistakes. But you know what? He is dependable as well. And he'll give us 15 to 25 games a season. As long as he's happy with that, I think he's an able understudy. He's a great cover for Robertson, and he chips in with his assists as well. He's got a fair few assists during his tenure at Liverpool. And yesterday comes in, a little bit shaky. Sarr did get the better of him in the first half, and the first minute really it goes through him. Went through him, wasn't it? The cross. But he found his feet, picked a really good ball out for Gakpo, who obviously put it on a sixpence for Jota. But all in all, I was happy with Tsimikas. Jones was coming in for Szoboszlai. I think you obviously messaged me on Friday before I went live with Gene and said you're not sure whether Szoboszlai starts tomorrow. So I put it on the show, on the Chip and Gene show on Friday. I put it out there in the atmosphere that, maybe Jones comes in. And the front three, a little bit surprised that Diaz didn't make it, but obviously game time. And rotation, finally slots doing a little bit here and there with the squad. And Gakpo came in, and I thought Gakpo first half certainly was fantastic.
Yeah, Sarib, just touching on Tsimikas, I think he deserves 5 minutes or so. 3 assists for that goal. was a cracking one. I feel like he is a guy. I think Avi said it correctly, that he is a decent understudy. But whether he's a decent understudy at Liverpool for the long-term basis, I'm not so sure. But when you look at him and you sort of dive deeper into his profile, he's got bits that are decent, 5, 6 out of 10, I'd say, where he's decent inside. He's got a decent delivery. I would say he's better on the ball to feet than Robertson. I would say Robertson has got better energy. He's probably got more drive than him. He's got more legs. He's a better defender, better defender all round. But I think he's a better technician.
He is, no doubt.
Robertson, and the Robertson fans might come at me, but if you put sentiment and the legend status that Robertson has got at Liverpool to a side, I think it's clear. But your thoughts on Tsimikas in general?
I think Tsimikas is a player that divides opinion amongst the fan base. Some people like him, some people don't. But one thing you have to admit with Kostas Tsimikas, that he loves playing for his football club. He's never complained. He's never been a problem in the dressing room. He knows that he's second choice, sometimes even third to Gomez, but he knows his role. And I think he does that role pretty well. He's had a few starts this season, Champions League, Cup games as well. In the West Ham game, he wasn't particularly great. I don't think he was necessarily a problem against AC Milan generally, even though the first goal, you can make a case for him being at fault for it. Yesterday, I think he was very, very good. And you make good points about the comparison between Robertson and Tsimikas, Asim. I think the one thing that Tsimikas does have that Robertson doesn't have is he has a right foot. And I think we can play different ways when you have a fullback that can play with both feet rather than just conventionally one, which Robertson is. You can tell he's. They even say in training he uses his left foot a lot more than his right. He's uncomfortable on his right foot, and I think we've seen that over his time at Liverpool. But maybe he hasn't had to use it as much because we have players that can cover that space in terms of being on the right foot a lot better. But I think Kostas Tsimikas yesterday, really, really good. And the only issue I have with Asim is that he sometimes lacks the intelligence, lacks the IQ of where to be at certain points, especially in defensive areas, and we see that a lot. But I think his ability going forward, especially off set pieces, I think is really, really impressive. I think one of his best attributes is off corners, and I think he got the assist for the Van Dijk in the cup final. I think he's got an assist off a corner in the Champions League. He is a very, very good set piece fullback. His cross is really, really impressive, and I think he always gives his best. And sometimes that might not be enough, but there's areas definitely needs to work on, and I think that is an area we will look to strengthen this summer. But I don't necessarily have a problem with Kostas Tsimikas as a player. Maybe he's not to the level of what we expect to be a Liverpool fullback to be at, but I don't think you can complain for someone that doesn't complain for that price, who is happy to sit on the bench and gives his all every single game. We didn't even have to say anything this time, Chip.
Someone muted me there. Someone muted me. My hands are here, down
Sometimes
here.
you can go from. Do you not press this button in the middle? Have you not got?
Nothing. What I was going to say, Avi, some fans, there's a conspiracy theory, albeit a bad one, where he's only at the club because he's best mates with Mohamed Salah.
Yeah, it was the same with Lovren, wasn't it? First it was Lovren and Salah, then it was Tsimikas. No, look, he does a job. He scored the winning penalty in the FA Cup, like Sarib mentioned, provided the assist for Van Dijk in the League Cup. He's always, and I'm telling you, he chips in with his fair share of assists. Look, he's a 6, 7 out of 10. Comes in, he's not going to be a first teamer. We'll probably look at that position next season with the way Slot wants our team, the way he wants to implement this team. Could be a left centre back or a left back. I'm sure, a couple will be moved on, and he could be one of them. What was he? 7.5 million from William to was it? That was where he came from the Dutch league, or Olympiacos, was it? 7.5 million. He's been a really good player, a good servant as well. He's never complained. Sarib, I've never heard him complain. Positionally, yeah, he does get caught. I thought he was at fault for that Milan first goal when Pulisic scored because he just jumped out of nowhere. He wasn't going to win that header, but he is dependable.
Just on Tsimikas, boys. He is also another player that's out of contract in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. From the top of my head, I believe he's out of contract this summer. I think he signed a contract extension 2 summers ago, if I'm not wrong. But I believe he's out of contract in the summer. Now, do you think we offer him a new contract? or not?
He's going to be what, 28, isn't he? 28, 29, 28?
He's got some value in him. Why would you let a player like that go on a free?
Because I don't think.
I
I think Liverpool bring a different type of profile of player in that area.
But
he would have been here for what, 4 or 5 years now? 4 years?
They joined the year after the title season, so the summer of the title season after we won it. He joined the summer of Jota, Thiago, Tsimikas.
Yeah,
I believe he's out of contract in the summer. But I'm not willing to allow him to go on a free because I think there's some value in him, and he can be a decent Premier League.
If there was value in him, Sarib, he would have left already. There would have been an offer for him on the table in the summer.
Maybe
10 million, 15 million, maybe at most. I don't think.
But what I would say, judging by the games and Arne Slot's selection this season, that he fancies Tsimikas more than Gomez in this role. It is probably because, and it's a fact, that Tsimikas provides more options than what Arne Slot expects his fullback to do. In the areas being inside, I think Gomez can do a job, but in terms of underlapping and overlapping, especially underlapping, where underlapping is more of a feature in the Arne Slot team than in Jurgen Klopp's side, I think he fancies him more. And I thought Joe Gomez would get a lot more games because he wants his winger to hold it a lot more. So the left back can be inside, but it shows you that whenever Robertson and the picks that he's chosen this season, that he doesn't fancy Joe Gomez over Tsimikas.
No, he doesn't. And I think Joe Gomez, maybe he's reiterated his stance as well, that look, he's going to play. Although, I don't think he's said it to him, Slot personally, that, I don't want to play that left back, right back. But, I think Slot probably predominantly sees him as a centre back. Kwanzaa and Gomez as the two, like we saw in the League Cup game against West Ham. Tsimikas, I think, obviously going forward, Robertson and Tsimikas offer a lot more. Last season, though, I think we saw, Gomez was wanting to cut in a lot more. Diaz was cutting. He wasn't holding width like last season. He was always trying to cut in. Now we're seeing Diaz as well holding the width, like you were saying, like, you comment on the weekly when you were at Anfield. You say that Slot's always just bantering on Diaz to hold that line. So at the moment, the way he's set up, he likes that sort of combo of Robo Diaz or Tsimikas Diaz.
No, yeah. You keep mentioning about him, Tsimikas being ahead of Gomez, and I do correct myself. He was supposed to be out of contract before he signed his contract extension in September 23. That's on me. But we keep speaking about Tsimikas is ahead of Gomez in the fullback areas, especially in the left back. But I don't think Arne Slot sees Gomez as a fullback. I think he sees Gomez as a centre back. We saw that in the cup as well. I know he did come on against Milan, if I'm not mistaken, at right back. But generally, from what I see, he's starting. He sees him more as a right back and a centre back rather than a left back, which we saw in the Jurgen Klopp. And I think even Jurgen Klopp didn't see Gomez as a left back until we had the two injuries to Robbo and Tsimikas. So why would Arne Slot then see Gomez ahead of Tsimikas? To me, it doesn't make sense. I think Gomez's form was too high in that left back position, which is why Klopp had him there. But generally, I think Robbo and Tsimikas are two fullbacks and maybe one of the youngsters coming through. But I think we're going to be in the market for a thing. But I think he likes the conventional fullback, Asim. I think he likes a up and down fullback rather than a Gavardi or Ake profile. From what I see, from what I see,
I think he likes a technical fullback that can do both. Obviously, Gavardi is the benchmark
of yeah.
He's made in a lab, that lad. But I think sometimes when I see Robertson in those areas, especially back to goal, there was a game around maybe which game was it? Was it Wolves? No, it wasn't. Probably a couple of games before where just the body positioning of Robertson, he was in that left half space, right at the edge of the box, really, really top of the box. But because of his body position, how he received that ball, and I'm not saying look, it's a massive weakness in Robertson. At the end of the day, he's just a left back. But this is the modern game. If Guardiola, and we have to compare it to the best sides, because that's you've got Calafiori, the way he receives the ball. If he was, and obviously he's not as good as Guardiola, so I'm using Guardiola as an example. But when he receives the ball, it's slightly on the half turn, where Robertson is front off, chest on, and we played the ball to him. If he was receiving that ball on the half turn or side, his body position was better, he'd have a shot at goal. But those are the positions that Arne Slot expects his fullback to take at times, especially for a Liverpool side that's going to be dominating possession for a long, most weeks, bar maybe Arsenal away and City away. So So if you've got your underlapping runs coming from the left back from that position, you expect him to be good in inside positions and around tight spaces. And I get the feeling Robertson, when he gets that ball, it's not his strength. Body positioning, technical ability, hip rotations, call it what you like. But
there's a lot of mileage in those legs as well, in Robertson, especially as well. It depends on how much he can go up and down, how much, as an attacking outlet can he still give, because the first 4 or 5 years he was sensational, and he's been there, 7, 8 years now, nearly almost, and he is 30, or he's going to be 30, he is 30 now. So there's a lot of mileage in those legs. I think he's one of those that we will need to rest here and there. And I think Slot yesterday did decide to rest Robertson.
Yeah, exactly. Vicky says Guardiola spent most of last season holding with as a left back, left winger with Foden inside. Obviously, we don't have that syndrome because he still thinks Cody Gakpo can be running at players from wide positions. That out to in run is really, really driven into these players. We saw Carvalho getting those instructions in pre-season, but obviously he wasn't good enough to stay at Liverpool. But I think we look at that position in the summer. I think Slot will keep Robertson for obvious reasons, and I think he'll have a different type of profile. What I will say is that player that we bring in that role or area will be a left-footed position player. I think that weighs heavy on Arne Slot's thinking, where he wants balance in that natural area as well as technical ability to play on the outside and inside. Let's go into the game then, Avi. Were we really good in the first half, or was Crystal Palace just out their depth and they just couldn't get anywhere near us? But you're probably going to sit on the fence and say it's a bit of both.
They haven't had a good start. I give you that. Olivier Glasner's Crystal Palace haven't had a good start. They've had a few changes. Adam Wharton hasn't replicated that form of last season. I thought he wasn't very good yesterday, but obviously, look, he's still young. He's still his game's going to be nurtured. He's going to come along. He will be a top player. There's no doubt about that.
Avi, he is carrying an injury.
He shouldn't be playing, should he?
But that's what I mean.
No, but if he's carrying an injury, then he shouldn't be playing. That's back on the management.
I get that, but when you're playing for these lesser teams, you have to put out your best players.
He's been poor since the
start. No, that's not doubt, but you also have to provide context as well as to why he might have been poor, rather than.
If he's carrying an injury, then why is he playing?
But that's the question you need to ask, then, isn't it? Rather than he's just been poor.
No, but I don't know. I'm going off by his form. He started yesterday, so he's fit enough to play. Yes or no?
He doesn't look fit to me, to be honest. And
but he started yesterday, so obviously
the commentators as well said that he's carrying an injury.
The medical staff, Asim's friend, Dr. Zaf Iqbal, is he still at Palace?
No, he's Arsenal.
He's Arsenal now. Okay, so the medical staff at Palace and Olivier Glasner obviously have said, obviously think that he's fit enough to play. If he's playing and he's brought up, that means he's fit. I don't know. I haven't heard anything that he was unfit or he's carrying a knock. I don't know. But he has been hauled off most games this season. Asim, I thought we were good first half. We kept the possession well. I thought Jones coming in kept it nice, neat and tidy without taking that extra risk. I thought he kept the ball well. I thought we generally kept the ball well. I wish that first half was the second half, if you know what I mean. I wish we ended the game, that last 30 minutes or last 25, 15 minutes. I wish we were doing that, what we did in the first half, because we literally nullified Palace. As soon as we scored the goal, the crowd didn't get going. They couldn't string any passes together. They couldn't create a chance until that 45th minute. I think on the stroke of half time, they get one chance, which Alisson saves, good save. I thought we could have been 2-3 up. We were a little bit relaxed, but first half, certainly, I thought Gravenberch, Jones, McAllister, I thought we kept the ball really well. But they were poor. There's no questions about that. That Palace team can only get there.
Sarib, I thought that first half performance was the best we've seen under Arne Slot's leadership. Would you agree?
I think you can say that. I think it was the opposite of what it was against Ipswich, whereas we had a really, really weird first half and a really good second half. But it was the other way around, where we dominated the first half against Palace and then the second half was a bit more dodgy. But generally, Asim, the patterns of play in that first half, the way we were passing the ball, the zip about it, everything was bang on. Every player looked on it. Cody Gakpo getting involved.
Why do you think? What do you put it down to?
I think it's a lack of confidence from Crystal Palace. I think it's the quality of Liverpool. I think it's an accumulation of both things. You show respect to the opponent coming here. Obviously, we are unbeaten there in the last 10 years. We haven't lost there as well. So there is a bit of respect there. We've had some really, really, really good results there as well. We are top of the table as well. So you need to understand that Palace are playing a team that are, going to be up there challenging for the trophies this season, rather than mediocrity fighting for the 5th and 6th like a United, where they try to have a go. But yeah, generally, Asim, I think the first half we were very, very dominant. Obviously, we got the goal. Shaky start though, I would say, and that's a problem that I'm going to address later on in the stream, not just from yesterday, where we just sometimes the split second concentration. Obviously, Palace get the offside goal in 28 minutes, but that was very, very, that could have easily been 1-0 if someone just times the run a bit better. But it's just stuff like this, Asim, where if we need to look at these things, and I don't want to be too negative, because I think the first half was at a very, very high level. Some of the football was playing in that first half really, really impressive. The goal from the left hand side, it reminded me of pre-season where Gakpo and Jota were involved with the ball. 3-touch goal, Tsimikas down the line, Gakpo makes that inside run on the play, Jota comes out of nowhere, which I think the Chalobah should have dealt with that a bit better. Jota puts it away. But yeah, first half, I have no issues whatsoever. Completely in control. Palace didn't have a sniff. Yeah, that's all I can say, really.
I was expecting, just coming in on that, I was expecting more from Palace, to be honest.
Yeah, so was I.
I was expecting a little bit more from. I mean, 28 seconds, like Sarib says, on another day that could have been on. So if you just times that a little bit, a few inches here and there, they go 1-0 up. It's the same sort of problems again that we would have faced under Jurgen. And a goal down, then it could have been a different story. But the one thing that we didn't do after that was panic or play sloppy passes or give them an inch. That first 25, 30 minutes, Asim, we didn't give them an inch. We were brilliant. We were tight in shape. Gakpo I thought he was magnificent first half. Jota, Salah were, okay. Jota was just probing away. Salah, a little bit better decision making. Jota, but I think that was the second half he gets. No, the first half, it was Jota gets that chance again from Gravenberch when he gets in behind. He does a 1-2 with Salah and he's off, and then Jota should have made it 2. So we should have been going into the second half, or going into the dressing room at half time, 2 goals up at least. Asim.
Van Dijk from the corner as well, over the bar. A few times.
I thought we were really, really good for 60 to 65 minutes. I think we had total control for 60 to 65 minutes. But in the Premier League, at the end of the day, in this league, Sarib, you don't put your chances away. You can't encourage Premier League teams, and however bad Crystal Palace were, they've still got some, half decent players that can hurt us. Especially Mateta coming, I thought, they started playing a lot more direct passes. Yeah. He can trouble any centre back in the world just because of how big he is. He's not very good, but he's strong. But I think once you don't put your chances away, that scoreline is never ever safe, especially away from home. And I think Liverpool and Arne Slot adapted. But I think when we take a step back, when you're in those situations, Sarib, it seems a lot more nervous. I mentioned last week when I was at Wolves, when you're facing, because you can't see a pass on the TV and you can see the pass in real life, and you think, he's in here. If it's even a 30-yard, a 50-yard ball, looks very easy when you're watching it live because you just don't see it on a TV screen. But even on Saturday, when I didn't go to the game, it felt really nervous. But when I watched it again in hindsight, I thought bar 15 to 16 minutes, Liverpool were really, really in a controlled manner, where even in the Wolves game, Sarib, Wolves, I checked the stats, 0.6 XG away to Wolves. And although it seemed a lot more nervy, the stats suggest whenever Wolves were in a position, it wasn't an alarming situation for Liverpool. Yeah. And that 0.6 XG for Wolves, the 0.4 of the 0.6 was the goal.
Yeah.
So 0.2 away from Wolves. Liverpool are not conceding chances. And Liverpool, I've also checked, when Liverpool are on level pegging, they are 6 XG compared to 1 XG in the 38 shots that they've had when Liverpool are, on level terms. So that shows you when Liverpool are level, or even in winning situations, that they've got it under control.
You say that, Asim. I absolutely agree with what you're saying. We don't give much away, especially one-on-one clear-cut chances. The quality of I will say I do think we give chances away, but they're not clear-cut. Palace had a few shots on our goal. Palace had a few shots on our goal, but they were just like Eze from edge of the box. They had a shot. It was right in the middle of Alisson's goal. Alisson could deal with it. It wasn't really like he's in behind there. They played a pass in by Wharton's cut the defense. It's not those kind of chances. But look, I look at the Wolves game, for example, and look, you say that we don't give much XG away. The opposition's XG is not very high against us, but when you say we're in control, but then we have that lapse of concentration between Konate and Alisson, and that can happen. And those are the things I worry about, because those are problems not just from this. Those have been problems for the last 2-3 seasons with Liverpool, especially with Ibu Konate. I think he's the one that sometimes does have a bit of a, I don't want to say bozo moment, because he's a really, really good defender, but sometimes he can be a bit like, okay, I'm a bit relaxed there, and then a bit of a problem, like Arsenal last season, where it was Alisson and Van Dijk, and just sometimes miscommunication. And I think we need to just tweak those little things, because right now we're not giving too clear big chances away. We're not giving too many chances away, but there's still a sense of maybe complacency in this Liverpool team and maybe that is from Arne Slot. Maybe he has installed that, oh, you're better than these lot, you should be killing the game off. Maybe that's why we look so much in control. But in hindsight, we think that we're better than the opposition. Like you said, it's the Premier League, Asim. You can never give the opposition a chance, especially when you're playing away from home.
Well, Sarib says it's down to complacency.
That goal was, though. The goal against Wolves was completely down to complacency. It was just too.
I think Konate genuinely misread that situation. I think that's what it was. I think he was expecting Alisson, because Alisson's always quick off his line when he comes to collect with his hands. I think he was expecting either the ball to go out or Alisson to come. He didn't. And you know what it is, though? The game has evolved so much that we're going to get top defenders making mistakes. Unfortunately, that's the way it is. Van Dijk, yeah, he's absolutely flawless. Saliba makes mistakes, but on the genuine, he's pretty much flawless. Gabriel makes mistakes. I think it was just, I think someone's mentioned it. Is this a bit of miscommunication against Wolves? Apart from that, this defense has been flawless. Yesterday, the Sarr shot, Eze shot. I think there was another shot at the edge of the box as well when Mateta, maybe it was Nketiah. Those are kind of pot shots outside the box that a goalkeeper of Alisson will comfortably make easy. Some keepers might, for the camera, make a save here and there, like Emiliano Martinez or Villa. He might do it for the cameras, but those were relatively easy saves. Even when Yaros came on, as he gets in another position, he could have gone a little bit more forward, but it was a tame shot. But if we concede those kind of chances to teams and top teams, I'm all for it, because look, you are going to concede chances. I don't want it to be where it's a constant one-on-one battle where we're just praising Alisson week in, week out, because a lot of that was happening last season and the season before when we finished outside of the Champions League. But even last season, when we finished third, we were conceding clear-cut chances where we were praising the hands of Alisson and praising him in general. I don't want Alisson to be too busy, and I think Slot alluded to that as well. He goes, I don't want my goalkeeper to ever be man of the match or him getting praised in the media, because that means we've failed in the first and second phases.
Let's talk about...
But just a quick one. Daniel Munoz yesterday, who came off very early on, that was a huge loss, because his delivery is usually good, and that wing back, and he's a good wing back. The Tyron Mitchell, the other one, picks up great positions, but he's awful when it comes to delivery. Sub-class, that Tyron Mitchell. He's a good defender, good one-on-one defender, but when it comes to going on the other, when he's going the other way, attacking-wise, his crossing isn't, his ability is really
good. Let's talk about the goal. Sarib will probably segue into Cody Gakpo's performance as well, because I thought we saw different facets of his profile and demeanor as well. I thought he was absolutely brilliant, especially Liverpool in general were brilliant first half, but especially him. But he also showed the different traits that we haven't seen in the past. And maybe this is the result of and the consequence of having so much competition, 6 genuine, brilliant, we're just going to say stars, but they're stars in their own right, but brilliant players up top. And especially that competition with Diaz and Gakpo that we've seen in recent weeks, where one player gets a brace, another plays the week after he grabs a brace. It's healthy competition. And is it bringing the best out of Cody when he gets given the chance?
Absolutely, Asim. And let's talk about the goal first, because that's the first question you asked me. I thought the goal was really, really impressive. I think I alluded to it earlier. I think the build-up between the left-hand side, especially with Tsimikas and Gakpo, I think they have a good understanding, those two. Especially I saw in the pre-season before last, they were really, really impressive. And the combinations between Gakpo and Jota have always been there. They understand each other's game really, really well. and the difference makers. Whenever Gakpo comes in, he makes a difference. Whenever Diaz plays, he makes a difference. But the goal is really, really good. And Gakpo again picks up that kind of inside position, out to in, and then he puts it on the plate for Jota, who makes that late run into the box, and he basically pokes it in. But yeah, it was a really, really good Liverpool goal. 3-pass goal for Liverpool. You can't really complain. But I thought Cody Gakpo yesterday was exceptional, especially in that first half. And and I think he is another player, especially even on our panel and behind the scenes and at Liverpool fan base who have mixed opinions on him, where a lot of us couldn't figure out where he would play. We saw him play in numerous positions last season as the central striker, as the right winger, sometimes in a midfield 3. He never really nailed down a proper position in the team, but Arne Slot's come in. Obviously, we've seen him play for Netherlands. He's predominantly off the left-hand side. We saw his best work at PSV off the left-hand side. And I believe generally when he's played for Liverpool, his best work has come off the left-hand side where he's been really, really impressive. I remember Burnley, I think it was Boxing Day, was it? I think Boxing Day we played Burnley last season. It was 2-0. I thought he was really, really impressive in that game and he played off the left. The goal against Man United where we all looked to, that goal came from, again, the left-hand side where he makes the out-to-in run, he puts the ball in the net. He excels at these positions where you put him in these areas and he will give you GA is what we want from our attackers, as Gene loves to point out. And we all do. The problem with him is that he couldn't really figure out, Klopp maybe couldn't figure out what position he was best in. He was really good in that false 9 because he can drop in and his range of passing is really, really good and he brings people into play. He preferred Diaz off the left, Jota off the left, and Salah off the other off the wing on the right hand side. But his problem was always that he can't figure out. But Arne Slot came in and he was asked in one of his first press conferences, "Do you know what position you're going to be playing?" The likes of Gakpo and Trent. This is while the Euros was going on, and he said, "I think I know, but I'd rather have that conversation with them first." And then we've come to know that he sees Gakpo predominantly as a left winger. And I thought every time he's played off the left hand side, he's been really, really impressive. I know he's had little cameos that Avi's not been impressed with. And some of the Liverpool fan base have not been impressed with. But again, he played against West Ham, and I thought he was really impressive on the left-hand side.
Who's not been impressed with?
No, I think you said when he came against Bournemouth, his intensity wasn't great. Like,
well, this season?
Yeah.
This season, I've been saying he's been explosive. I've had your back. If anything this season, I've said he's been explosive when he's come on. He looks a bit leaner. He looks a bit stronger. We all have. Maybe Gina has to. I've actually backed up Gakpo this season from the start. And I've said last season, just on Cody Gakpo, can I go?
Yeah.
Last season, I tell you what was the problem, Asim. His first game of the season, he was played as an 8.
Yeah.
Then he was drifted on the left. Then he drifted on the drifted as a 9.
That's what I was saying to you.
Jurgen Klopp did not have a plan for him. He didn't have a blueprint for him. Unfortunately, look, we can say that now, and you can say, in hindsight, he still ended up with 15 goals last season in 51 games. Not a bad return for a player that was messed around in 2-3 positions.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Slot predominantly sees him now as a left winger. Yeah.
Just to interject, I think in Jurgen Klopp's defense is that when our midfields were sort of dysfunctional, those massive gaping holes. When we shifted to the system where Trent inverts into midfield, he needed someone to come deep and connect the play because Jordan Henderson and the likes of these sort of players couldn't technically receive the ball on the half turn when they were in a box midfield. So he needed Cody Gakpo to play the false 9 at the top of the diamond is to connect play. So he was needed in other areas as well. I get what you mean by Jurgen Klopp misprofiled the player and he used him. That's a fact because Jurgen Klopp admitted that.
Yeah, in his little meeting when he did it at the end of the season.
Yeah, he did. But I think nobody can say that Cody Gakpo's best position is from that wide area and then striking the ball in those left inside positions. We all know that. That's his position that he came from PSV. That's the position that he plays, generally speaking, again, with Holland as well. That is his biggest asset. But Avi, carrying on. Sorry, I just wanted to defend Jurgen Klopp to an extent.
But Asim, your issue with Gakpo was that he didn't do you never had an issue with him going down the left-hand side. Your issue was his work down the other side where he never used to do the tracking runs. And I think that was a lot of the Liverpool fans' issue. Avi, including myself, I thought his off-the-ball work was never particularly great. But I think that was because he's been installed to playing teams that are, always, he doesn't have to do that job, whereas PSV are always going to be dominating the ball. But I noticed, especially back in the last season, Asim, that off the ball improved a lot. And I said it on the show. If you go back and watch the shows and the conversation, you can go watch back, go and watch the shows back. We need the views anyway. But look, his off the ball work was really, really impressive, and he's brought that into this season. And we saw how explosive he was in the European Championships. And I think he got joint top scorer with Dani Olmo, if I'm not mistaken. I think
I'll give my opinion on him because you asked me a few questions. But
the biggest issue last season, Diaz. I know Diaz had a flurry of that sort of December to January, February period where he was getting goals, he was getting assists. no one from that left-hand side, neither Diaz or Gakpo, over the course of the season, they didn't stake their claim. And that's what we wanted, to show a little bit more, show a bit of fight. We've seen it this season. Diaz has started like a house on fire. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's getting goals, he's getting assists. His general overall play has been superb. And Gakpo, whenever he's been relied upon, when he's been called upon, he's been explosive, a little bit leaner, like Asim alluded to last week, maybe so. Looks quicker, looks daring. He looks ready to take a player on. Last season is a bit of it, getting the ball, passing and getting the ball, maybe being a safe option. This season, he's going front-footed and going one-on-one with his defenders. And yeah, maybe he's a bit of a hipster as well, like Asim likes, using those terms with hips, where he's swiveling, swiveling quicker and getting a shot away, or swiveling and opening up 2-3 options when it comes to the attack. So I think both of them, and I think being Dutch as well does help Asim. It does help Slot being Dutch. Gravenberch is reaping the rewards. I think Gakpo is reaping the rewards of having a manager who's very much concentrating on man-to-man coaching as well. I think he's a little bit more, he's not an arm-around-the-shoulder manager, we've seen that, but he's a lot more of an educator, you could say. You can see with Pep Guardiola, I know he likes it to do, sometimes he likes it with the cameras, but you see with him, with Adama Traore, I think Slot does that away from the cameras at Kirby, where he actually goes in detail of where a player can improve. I think that's been a big difference as well.
Yeah, look, 100%. I think I tweeted a couple of days ago, Avi, about the swivel. It's definitely improved this year. Just maybe because he looks fitter, he looks stronger, he looks leaner.
Can I interrupt? For
someone who's playing in his right position.
For someone who's a night out with a buddy, he's popping off comments like, "No, tomorrow you're either coming on the show or concentrate on your dinner. Yeah, get down on one knees and get your marriage proposal. Renew your wedding vows. Don't come on this show if you're busy." He must have gone for a doner as well, because doners are quick to eat. He's definitely not gone for a 3-course.
But look, in a Jurgen Klopp side, I think whenever he played on the left, it was still, generally speaking here, where Robertson was flying up and down that wing, where he was expected to receive the ball. And I always thought whenever I saw Cody Gakpo play, I thought he's a player that he wants to receive the ball, get half a yard and shoot. Or, granted that his ball striking ability is brilliant, but I thought he was slightly predictable on many occasions, especially on the big day. And then when you saw Pep Linders, Jurgen Klopp going crazy, this wasn't just on Jurgen Klopp side. I think this is why Luis Diaz started ahead of him in that wide area, because he's more of a touchline winger, and his off the ball awareness, his shadowing, his screening of passes into midfield is a lot better than Cody Gakpo. But Cody Gakpo has shown an appetite to improve, and I've talked about that swivel from those positions where he, because of his leaner stature this season and his sort of rawness and intensity levels have increased, just like what you said, Avi, is that swivel has given him a lot more options. And we've talked about that left back is going down that left whenever we really sustain attacks and face a low block, if you like, on many occasions. If the left back is underlapping, if the left-sided midfielder is high, whenever he's coming on that swivel now, he's getting a lot more options, and connecting is one thing that he's getting slightly better at, and maybe with more game time that it really flourishes. Yeah. When he starts connecting with these sort of triangles in those positions, he doesn't have to. If he doesn't and the play opens up for him, then we know how really good his ball striking ability is. But what I really like about him this year, if you're carrying the ball on that touchline from deep areas, just like we've seen Luis Diaz do on many occasions, that Manchester City game, driving forward and carrying the team forward. If he's doing that in the 95th minute against Palace away at 12:30 kickoff, then you're going to be knocking on Arne Slot's door about a first team berth. And this is and I've always said the old Cody Gakpo doesn't get into a Liverpool side basically because of his off the ball awareness. And if he's improving that side of his game, then obviously it's a different conversation, because we know how good his decision making is inside the box. We know how good his composure and ball striking is. So fair play to him. If he's improving his game, then only Liverpool can be the beneficiaries of that.
The key word just there, and you just hit the nail on the head there, Asim, was appetite. There's a different appetite to him this season. There's a different appetite in Luis Diaz this season as well. Luis Diaz gives us always, even last season, he was giving us 100. 100-mile-per-hour performances. You know, he was giving us determination, hard work, the hard grind. We saw the City game, but he wasn't putting the finishing touches to his performances, like the goals or the assists. This season, they're combining it all. Gakpo might have not scored yesterday, but he's certainly affecting play with the assist yesterday. The West Ham game, he's coming in and doing more than just a job, more than just a shift. They're actually contributing to their goals and assists to the team. Sorry, Sarib.
But Asim, you say about appetite, but do you think that could be down to like the fact that he's been thrown around in so many different positions? Like, it's hard to build consistency in a player where you're playing 15 positions. One week you're playing up front, then you got to play left, then you got to do a job in center midfield. And when you're a player that's new to the club, because he is a newer player for us rather than the likes of, you know, Salah, Diaz, etc. He's only been here, technically this is his second full season as a Liverpool player, whereas first he hardly played in terms in a sustained position. Do you think there's a sense of maybe, no matter what I do, why would I put the hard yards in if I'm playing centre midfield, 1 week striker, 1 week left wing? The manager clearly doesn't trust me, so why should I put the hard yards in? And maybe not, like, he won't say it, but mentally that can have an effect on the player. I believe that, especially if I know what position I am and I'm being thrown around different positions, I'm obviously going to have some sort of sense of like, why am I doing this? For what kind of thing? If that makes sense.
I know what you mean, but you know, you can flip the coin, and say, okay, I'm going to prove you wrong. Wherever I play, I'm going to make sure I give you a shift. And
there's a sense of that as well. Yeah.
Well, you know, it works both ways. But the
least
you can provide. And look, there's a reason why sometimes, you know, Jamie Carragher has come out and publicly said in live commentary where he said, didn't he say, watching Cody Gakpo is like watching someone play backwards or something? What was it? What was the famous quote?
I think it was against United.
Slow motion. He was saying it. He said that, didn't he? Sometimes watching Cody Gakpo is like watching him in slow motion. The comments can say something. Confirm. I'm surprised.
It is a Carragher thing to say, though, isn't it?
But no, I wouldn't have done that myself live. I think, you know, I wouldn't have cooked him like that live on commentary. And I would have, if you wanted to say it, I would have at least says yes. So he must have said it. It's something similar. I think the slow motion, the word is. He did say that. The reason why he's saying that is because his off-the-ball awareness and his demeanor is not good. And I don't care which position you play. You saw Stevie G play a right back in the Champions League final. Also, okay, granted, it's a Champions League final and it's a lot more at stake. But it's the attitude, isn't it? It's a never die attitude. And he wasn't bought like an 80, 90 million pound player where you say, okay, which is your best position? We're going to play you there. Luis Diaz was already at the club. Okay, he wasn't, performing at the Sadio Mane level, but I think he still needs to improve that outside ability, going on the outside. He's taking players on in a different way where he's ball carrying, coming inside, going outside, and driving forward. Because once he gets going, it's hard to stop. But just going back to your point, Sarib, about down tooling the moment that he comes into the club after a year, so I would put that down to the player not showing the right attitude. If I was a manager and if a player, because you're whenever you come at club at Liverpool, you have to earn the right to be the star. And Sadio Mane came and he started on the right, then went on the left, then came on the 10. You develop your career club, and especially when a player comes, he wasn't, like I said, a 60-70 million player. What did we buy him at? 38 million.
35 million, yeah.
35 million. So was he bought as a squad player? So when you're bought as a squad player, you have to make sure you give the manager a headache. And if you do get played out of position, you have to prove him wrong. And then gradually you find yourself where you want to be. There was a question, Avi. I don't think we talk about Van Dijk enough. Maybe because we are so accustomed to him performing. Normalized. A Van Dijk level type of performance has become so normalized, to steal a word from Sarib, is the reason why I think we don't discuss him enough. But he was doing things on Saturday afternoon that you think, wow. I think there was one stage where he picked up the ball and it felt loose. It was in the air, and he did a little Gravenberch type of flick over the.
He did it against Brighton as well, away a few seasons ago as well.
Yeah,
he sort of took the player on with just a little side touch with the head. Yeah.
And honestly, it's unbelievable. Liverpool are generally ground duels, Avi. They're winning around 51%. I'd like for Liverpool to be winning a lot more. But in the air, they're winning 72% aerial duels. And that is a lot down to Virgil van Dijk and Ibu Konate.
Look, I'm lost for words when it comes to Virgil van Dijk. I've said it many times, sick and tired of saying it. For me, in my lifetime, and I'm quite old now, Van Dijk is the greatest defender that I've seen. He really is. He's up there with the top three in my eyes. I said he makes everything look effortless. And I said if we look after him and he looks after his body like he has, barring that ACL a couple of seasons ago, he plays on until 35, 36 at the highest level. His positioning, his brain, his intelligence, his leadership. I tweeted last week and I said Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant
Wow.
have this aura. You can put Jude Bellingham there as well last season. You know, that aura. That when someone knows they're just great, but they still remain humble. Virgil van Dijk's one of them. He has this aura of invincibility that he knows whether he comes across an Mbappe, a Vinicius, or a straight-legged race against one of the fastest dribblers out there, he will always get the better of you, and he backs himself. There's not enough words that I can say when it comes to Virgil van Dijk. He's forever stamped his authority on this team. I think the best decision, one of the best decisions that Klopp made was make him club captain, because the players feed off that aura. They play for the club, they play for the badge, but they also represent the captain on that pitch. And I think every single one of them, all 10 of them, when they look at Van Dijk and they know the standards that he keeps, they follow suit. Absolute. He's a genius in that position. There'll never be anyone like him in the next 5-10 years. Salibas, your Gabriels, Konates, all these centre backs, the Kubastis in Barcelona, the young kids that are coming through there and in Spain, around the world, there won't ever be a Virgil van Dijk.
Sarib, I think you've seen even Van Dijk is showing different traits. We know he already always had that. But in a Jurgen Klopp side where we saw more of the Virgil van Dijk switch, now with more of a possession-based style, we're seeing the Virgil van Dijk passing into Ryan Groundwork a lot more. And who better than Virgil van Dijk to play that ball inside to midfield?
Yeah, Asim, I think sometimes you run out of superlatives for this man. I think he is just ridiculous. Could say this, but it could cause some controversy. I think as a player, as a whole package, in that position, I don't think, bar Luis Suarez, I think he might be up there as one of maybe Liverpool's second best ever player in terms of being elite at that position. Like Suarez, I think was, as a striker, the best I've ever seen play for Liverpool. I think he is. You look at how he was as a player.
The most important signing and player in the last 20 years of our
that as well. But I think his ability,
hands down.
I don't think there's been a better centre back that's played for Liverpool. I don't think it's been a better. Even you look at the midfielders, you could say Stevie G, but I never thought like Stevie G was always in conversations with like Zidane and these players, but I always thought there's one player better than him. But Virgil van Dijk, I look at, I don't think there's a defender that has been, especially since he's starting playing for Liverpool, that's been better than Virgil van Dijk. And I think that's why I think that maybe it's the era we're playing. But I personally believe if he's not the second best, I think he's top 3, no doubt, best Liverpool players ever, in my opinion. But his importance to this team is second to none. I think he leads this team so well. His passing range is magnificent. He scores goals. He defends. Aerially, he's magnificent. He's good looking. He's got a good head of hair. He smells good. Everyone says he smells good.
Yeah.
What more do you want? He turns up season in, season out. I've never seen a player, I swear by Allah, I've never seen a player come back from an ACL injury and his level has probably dropped off just a teensy bit. But that level he was playing at before his ACL was ridiculous. And he's getting very, very close to that level where defenders are running away from him. I remember a game that we played Inter Milan away. Lautaro Martinez is running at Virgil van Dijk. He sees Virgil van Dijk coming. He starts chaining. I think it was him or Dzeko is one of the players. But
it was Martinez in the Champions League.
Yeah. I mean, Martinez running and Virgil van Dijk's coming at me. He starts running the other directions. Like players don't even want to take him on. Absolutely.
Best defender ever in the Premier League, sorry.
I think from definitely what I've seen, obviously I've not have the range of knowledge that you two have. You watched Premier League for a lot longer than me, but from what I've seen, I think he's the best. He's the best I've ever watched. I think Ramos runs him very, very close. I think longevity wise, you could say Sergio Ramos, but as a player on a one game basis, you'll take Virgil van Dijk ahead of anybody. And I think that's the biggest compliment you can pay for him. He's only been here for 6 years, and he's in these conversations as one of the best centre backs ever. And people say, "Oh, he doesn't have the longevity of Nemanja Vidic." If you
he was the best defender in the Premier League when he was at Southampton.
Yeah, him.
He was the best defender, and people forget that he's Southampton still. He was there for maybe 18 months or 2 years. He was the best defender then. That's why Man City wanted him. That's why Chelsea wanted him. That's why we pursued him. And it didn't happen in that summer of 2017. We went again in December. We gave the player assurances. We will come back in for you. If we didn't balls it up like the way we did, we would have gotten that summer of 2017. Who knows where the season would have ended there? He has been here for 9 years, 8 or 9 years. How much more do you want?
Yes, that's what he says. He does have the longevity.
I was going to say that Man United fans love to say, "Oh, there's not the longevity of Nemanja Vidic." But if you go and look at the appearances in the Premier League, Virgil van Dijk has made more Premier League appearances than Nemanja Vidic. So of course he has the longevity, and he's been playing an elite level. The only thing Nemanja Vidic has over Virgil van Dijk, and it is a big thing, is the trophies. And yes, we've been playing against one of the greatest teams ever in Manchester City, but he should have a few trophies.
Vidic couldn't lace when it comes to playing ability. He couldn't lace his boots.
Yes, as ability-wise,
and Vidic was good. He was. I don't think Vidic was ever world class, by the way. But he was a very good defender. He could never lace Virgil's boots. The only close one to Virgil is Rio Ferdinand, hands down. Yeah. West Ham, Leeds, and United. He was world class. Sol Campbell too was class. Terry was good, but not on this level.
That's probably the only centre back I'd say I can put ahead of Virgil, and there'd be a conversation. I don't think you can speak about anybody else.
He can probably spray a ball 30, 40 yards, 50 yards, 60 yards, better than any midfielder out there in the world. He hits it effortlessly. You've seen him when he goes across. He hits it without any effort.
So the lovely moment in the Palace game, where Van Dijk just crisply, strikes the ball to Trent, where he was in that right half space, and then Trent hits it on the outside foot of his foot to Salah. Those two passes were unbelievable.
No, and look, I never saw defenders like that. Whether it was Rio Ferdinand, Vincent Kompany is a great defender. Someone's mentioned it. He was a very good defender. There's never been a defender that could pass the ball like Virgil van Dijk, 30, 40 yards, even between the lines at times.
Maybe David Luiz. Luiz
was a good. Yeah, but Luiz was not a great defender.
Yeah, okay, on the ball.
Luiz was swapped between being a DM.
As a package, as a whole package.
Whole package. Van Dijk, he's got everything, and Asim, he's got to be the first. People talk about Trent, Salah. Van Dijk is the one that we've got to really hold on to, in my opinion. He's the one that we've got to hold on to.
He's still the best in his position. Now, you can argue in the winger position, you could have Vinny ahead of Mo Salah at the moment. You could have, as a right back, you could make an argue for, Frimpong, etc., etc. But as a central defender, especially in this season, you can still see Virgil van Dijk is still at the top of his game. He doesn't look. You can put anyone next to him. You can put me next to him, and I'm 5'7". I promise you, I'd probably look good. You made Dejan Lovren.
He's good, but he's not that good.
No, I'm not bad. I used to play for my uni. I can give a bit. At free, they used to call me Aspilicueta. But no. He brings players in. He makes players look better. He is just top.
Okay, it won't be the first time we talk about Van Dijk. Gene was mentioning that we should be talking about Ibu Konate, but we touched on Ibu in the previous weeks, how good it's been. And I'll just quickly read out his comment if I find it. Can we get...
No, we don't need to read his comments, man. He's a contributor to the channel. Why do you have to put his comments up all the time? Put other people's comments up.
He'll complain later on.
Let me complain. Who does he think he is? He's not here today. He's off gallivanting. He's probably not with the Buddhi.
My loyalty lies to the panel. So, Gene, you're not getting the comment on screen. Avi, injuries. This squad depth has been talked about for a long time. Even the summer we were talking about it.
There we go.
Squad depth.
I'm going to tell you straight.
Alistair. Alisson again. It's one of them that. Are we surprised? No.
And I've said there's a reason that Mamardashvili is coming next summer. He's not coming to play second fiddle. He really isn't. I've just been keeping tabs on him. 3 clean sheets in a row for Valencia, doing very well. Alisson next season, if we get 30 to 40 million for him, he's going to be 32, I believe. I think his birthday's coming up in October. Actually, he'll be 32. You get rid, Asim. He's been a great servant. One of the best keepers in the Premier League in Europe.
Huh? Can I clarify what you just said there? So you think
I would sell him? I would sell him next summer.
No.
In this Like coming up, this summer coming up.
Well, if I'm saying this summer, next summer, it means next summer, isn't it? Next year, 2025.
Okay, I just look. I want
I
to.
know you're from Bradford, but you're not that unpart. Okay, you got a bit of a brain and common sense with you. I've seen your threads and read them as well.
You know, Alisson's come out and said he wants to stay for the rest of his contract, and I don't think.
Sarib, I want players that can give me full seasons, who can stay fit. Odd injuries here and there, I don't mind. McAllister's probably got a knock. He'll be back probably 20th of October against Chelsea. But Alisson, for the last 6-7 years that he's been here, 6-7 since what, 2019, 2018?
He's missed 41 games since 2019.
I think it's more. I think
the only season he completed the 38 games was his first season, 18-19. That's the only season he played 38.
Might be in the league.
We can't afford now going into the next 2-3 years under Arne Slot to have a keeper that misses the best part of, if you add up all his time, calculate all his time during the duration of the season, we can't afford for him to miss 4 or 5 weeks. We really can't, especially in a sticky period. We don't know how severe this hamstring injury is, or the injury yesterday, but he could be out of all of October and maybe early November. That's our toughest period. The games that are coming thick and fast, the teams that we're playing, Bayer Leverkusen, Madrid, and Arsenal, and Chelsea, and so on and so forth, Man City, I don't have no doubt that Kelleher can come in and do a job. But next summer, we need to make a real decision, because you got Alisson, you got Mamadashvili coming. Kelleher will probably want first team football, so he'll be off. Mamadashvili is not coming to this football club to play second fiddle. He's not here to play FA Cup game, League Cup games next season.
But
he's really 25 too.
Avi, you say this, we can't afford to lose Alisson, but surely
I'm saying we can't afford to lose Alisson.
No, in terms of his injuries, like you said, we can't afford to lose Alisson, which is why you'd cash in on him next summer, is what I meant. You'd get rid of him because he can't keep fit, because he's not unreliable in the season. That's what you said.
Yeah, I would try to upload him next summer.
But I don't think that's going to be an issue, because now we've got a keeper coming in that's top quality. So his injury problems are not going to be as big as a problem if we have a notable keeper come in. You say that Mamadashvili is not coming in to play second fiddle. I believe that he will be second fiddle, because I don't think Kelleher. I think Kelleher's gone next summer, which means when Alisson inevitably leaves Liverpool in the coming seasons, he will then shift Mamadashvili to the number one. I think the reason why he's been brought in.
Alisson, I think we will sell Alisson next season.
No, we won't.
Summer.
No, we won't, Avi. He's come out and said he wants to stay at the club.
He can come out and say what he wants, but if an offer comes in from whoever, Saudi or Europe, of 30 to 40 million, I think we look at it, Sarib.
He saves us arguably 10, 12 points a season, Alisson, alone. He's, if not the best goalkeeper in the world, he's second to Courtois. He, for me, is top 2 in the world.
No, he's the best keeper. He's the best keeper, but he's also 32. Injuries are only going to get worse, Sarib.
And that's fine. And now it's okay.
For a goalkeeper, it's unheard of. His injury record is unheard of for a goalkeeper. You do not understand that.
That's the issue with him. I'm not disputing that, but still,
it's on the cusp of embarrassment of how many injuries he picks up.
He saves you 10, 12 points a season, and he doesn't play 38 games. That is enough for him to stay at Liverpool. And now we've got a quality keeper coming in, Mamadashvili. That gives me even more reason not to sell him, because now he's not going to be as important as he would be if we didn't have another keeper coming.
So Alisson's happy to play second fiddle then?
No, but it's not. No, Mamadashvili will be happy to play second fiddle. Alisson's injuries.
How can you say?
Alisson's injuries won't be as big as an issue next season, because we have quality coming off the bench where the keeper's not going to complain about, I don't want to be in the bench. Like Kelleher's come out. Kelleher's come out in public when he says, I don't want to be here. Mamadashvili is not going to do that. He's a new keeper coming to the club, knowing that in a few years he's going to be the number one. So
he's 25. He's not coming in as a 22, 21-year-old, learning his trade, learning off the best. He's coming in as a 25-year-old. He's getting first team football already.
Mamadashvili, hold on. Let's just Mamadashvili. If he's 25 years old, I'm gonna jump off the stream right now. If he's 25 years old, just like Bruno Guimaraes was 30 years old, yeah.
How old is he?
Mamadashvili is 24. He's just turned 24.
Oh, 24, 25. What's a year? 24. What's a year here and there?
Go away with that one, Avi. I would go away with I give him that.
Yeah, exactly.
If he was 22, I'd pounce on him right now.
Alisson signed for this club when he was 26 years old, I believe, from Roma in 2018. his injury problems are getting worse. But I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue going into future seasons because we've got a top quality keeper coming
Future seasons. He's saying future seasons.
in. The next season, future's next season.
Mohamed Belly, Sarib will clip this and save it for next season. Mohamed Belly will be number 1 next season.
He will not.
First game of the season, the first league game of the season, Mohamed Belly is number 1.
If Alisson's injured, by the way.
Yeah, no, regardless.
But are we saying Alisson won't be at the club?
Yeah, I think we'll sell him. A 40 million. Okay, Asim, you get 40 million or near enough. Would you not entertain that offer for Alisson?
I think Alisson is such a great keeper, Avi. Regardless of the injuries, we leave that decision with Alisson. Not because he deserves that in terms of what
he does deserve. No, he deserves.
No, he doesn't deserve it because the service that he's given to Liverpool. He deserves it because how good he is.
Yes, absolutely.
And how good he can be for Liverpool. But I think Liverpool are treating the fact that he gets injured far too many times and actually managing that situation by bringing this lad from Valencia next season. Whether
Alisson,
I don't know. I think you're right. Kelleher definitely.
If my memory serves me right, Alisson was not there for the 3-3, the 4-3 against Man United in the FA Cup, and I don't believe he was there for the 2-2 league game either. Was he? He didn't the other game. That's all I wanted to know. All right, that's fine.
But I mean,
I think there was six goals in that game. I think he would have saved me.
If we were in the market for a keeper properly as a number 1, don't you think we would have just sold Alisson in the summer to Saudi, knowing his injury problems already? Because we turned down offers for Alisson from Saudi Arabia this summer. We could have probably got a lot more money for him. But Alisson came out and said, "I'm happy to stay at Liverpool. I'm happy." He's done interviews saying he wants to see out his contract at Liverpool. His family.
Maybe we thought Mohamed Belly wasn't ready this season. Maybe we thought he needed another year in a good league, like he's doing in Valencia, staying on and playing more games.
This is before Mamardashvili was signed.
Ideally, you'd want him to be playing games in the Premier League, and that's why we wanted him to play games for Bournemouth.
Yeah,
not necessarily, Asim.
Because at 24,
he's still playing in a top league. He's also gone down a division. He stayed at
game time.
He stayed where he is, where in a team where they've been cheating a lot of shots. He's been making a lot of saves. I think it's fine where he is. Gone to Bournemouth, yeah, maybe it would have benefited him.
But my point is that he's not short of game time.
Absolutely.
Mamardashvili, I can't pronounce his name.
Mamardashvili. No, he's not short of game time. But I don't know. I don't see Alisson being here next season.
There was a question from one of the...
And especially when you spend 35 million or 40 million on a keeper that's coming next summer, he's not going to be happy. And you said... Sorry, you sat there and said, "Oh, in a few seasons' time, he'll be ready."
He will be.
Few seasons. He's 20. He's going to be 24. He's 24 now.
That's fine.
So, you don't think he'll be ready? Huh?
Keepers play. Buffon played until 41. What are you on about?
Oh yeah, they're special goalkeepers. You're now comparing Mohamed Belly with Buffon.
Keepers have longevity, having more than outfield players. Everyone knows this.
Yeah, where's De Gea then? How old is De Gea?
De Gea's at Fiorentina.
No, how old was De Gea when he couldn't find a club for months? He couldn't find a club for months.
That's because of his wages. His wages is too high.
No. He was a free agent. He was a free agent for God's sake.
So you think Alisson and Kelleher both leave next summer?
Yeah,
I've said Mohamed Belly will be number 1 next season.
No, man.
No, he will be if Avi's right that Alisson leaves Sarib.
I don't believe he'll be number 1.
What he's saying.
I don't think
Alisson is going to be number 1 if Alisson leaves. That's what Avi's point is.
We'll come back to it. I know I won't be proven wrong on this one.
Okay, so if Alisson stays and Mamardashvili stays is at Liverpool next season, who's number 1?
I don't believe we'll be in that situation.
No, but if we are,
but I'm telling you what I think.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna talk hypothetically. I'm giving my reasoning, saying that Ali won't be here next summer.
So you don't want to talk hypothetical, but you saying Alisson's leaving is also hypothetical.
It is, but I'm backing myself. I'm not having this idea. No, I'm not having this idea. I'm not having this idea that we're gonna have Mamardashvili and Alisson here at the club. I'm not.
He's not leaving. I'll tell you that for free. I'll do anything. If he leaves, I'll do anything you say.
My prediction.
No, I don't want to do it. It's not about doing anything. I'm telling you, Mohamed Dashbeli is not being brought in next summer to be a second fiddle goalkeeper, especially for the price that we paid and especially the height that he could come with.
Where do you think he's coming from? Real Madrid. He's going to be fighting a relegation battle in Spain.
As look how much we spent on a goalkeeper. Then we could have got any number 2 people.
I don't think it was that much.
We could have spent anything then. We could have got Aaron. We could have got
future-proofing.
Future-proofing. You're not going to future-proof a goalkeeper who's coming in at the age of 25 next summer. At 25, he's going to come in to be a future-proof goalkeeper for 2-3 years. Come on, yaar.
Future-proofing for 2 reasons. One, because of managing Ali's injuries.
The lack of keepers.
Liverpool are expecting, I think there's an expectancy on Liverpool's side where there's one summer, Alisson turns around to them and says, I fancy a new challenge.
Yes.
And that'll be next season.
Whether that's the next season, I don't know. I think Mama comes next season and plays the Kelleher role. Kelleher leaves and Alisson stays. Yeah. And maybe in a year or 2 after that, it could be a year, it could be after 2 years. I don't know.
A year or 2, I'm hearing.
And if the players come out and said, I want to see out the rest of my contract at Liverpool, you have to take that face value. You can't look past that.
I'm looking forward to next summer already.
Why? You've had an Alisson agenda for time. You've said, I want Kelleher to start ahead of Alisson, even when Alisson was fit.
No, I said that Kelleher's form last season warranted him maybe keeping his place. I've got no issue with Alisson. I think he's a great keeper. Look, he's one of the best in the Premier League in history. I think he's brilliant. He's better than Edison. I think he's one of the top 3 goalkeepers that has ever come to the Premier League. But his injuries are a problem. Like I said, those 2 Man United games last season, I think Alisson saves a few shots that went in.
And you want him sold?
We can't be missing him for 6-7 weeks anymore. For the last 5 years, people are. This is what my problem is. This is what we did with Naby. This is what we did with Ox. We just waited to see if they could give us a full season. Alisson's a tremendous goalkeeper. Like I've said, at 32, still very young. But I don't think we can keep affording him to have these kind of injuries where he's missing 4 or 5 weeks of the season.
But now we've got quality in reserve. I think we can. That's the point I'm trying to make to you. Maybe that was an issue a couple of seasons ago because Kelleher was a bit dodgy. We had Adrian, but now we've got Mohamed Dashbeli, one of the top European keepers coming in. That's not even in his prime yet. That's why I think Alisson's injuries are not going to be as detrimental to Liverpool as they maybe would have been a couple of years ago and maybe this season. Because
let's talk next summer. Like I said, hypotheticals this season. Let's talk next summer. I'm pretty sure we'll get offers for Alisson, and I think he'll entertain them.
Alisson to Adrian was there. I think Mohamed Dashbeli to Alisson is a bit there now. That's why I think it's not as big as a problem as it would have been in previous summer. Look at Edison to Ortega.
I think it would be wrong on the topic of goalkeeping that we don't mention the cameo of Jaros for 40-50 minutes. I think we have to mention him. Avi, talking of goalkeepers, he did all right, didn't he?
It's one of those stories that he'll tell his great grandkids and grandkids, isn't it? That he played 15 minutes at Liverpool at Selhurst Park, and he did do a good job. Apparently, he's a good goalkeeper. Look, he won the Austrian League last season with Sturm Graz. He comes with a very sort of high reputation. He's a fellow Czech Republic. We've got a few of them at our club. Good goalkeeper, and he speaks very good English. But I thought he was scouts for a minute.
My jaw dropped on the floor when I heard it.
Yeah, he speaks very English than you said. It makes more sense. Certainly makes more sense than you said it. But no, he's it's a good story for him. And look, maybe he can make a play as well. Maybe he wants to stay. But I think there were murmurs over the summer that he wanted to leave. So he was retained.
Yeah,
he was retained, and look, it was a great moment for him. And thankfully, he keeps a clean sheet. And when he was called upon, he was fine.
The season before last year. Are we going to go back to this?
I
like his name. I like his name, by the way.
I didn't put that, by the way, that comment.
It must have been Tina.
We mentioned
one season out of 6 is totally fine. He wasn't even at the. These are problems. Gina, you're supposed to be entertaining your wife. Do a shukul mukul with a do a puppy shukul with your wife. Instead, you're coming on the comments. You're either fit enough to come on the thingy, or your wife's booted you out. Which one is it? Come on, yaar.
No, Jaros has been at Liverpool since 2017. He's been there for a while, to be honest. It's coming up to 6-7 years. He's been at Liverpool, Jaros.
And Batty man, just letting Batty man know, one season out of 6 that he's been at the club, is not good enough. That he's played 37 games. Look how many he's missed as well.
Happy, why do you sound so riled, man?
You change his name as well. Fucking idiot.
Okay, Avi. So did you want Thiago?
Relax.
Did you want Thiago Alcantara sold after his first season?
You're asking stupid questions.
Why?
I wasn't a big advocate of Thiago coming in the first place.
Fair enough. I didn't know you then. That's why I asked. It's not a stupid question.
Well, now you know.
Okay, thank you for clarifying it. Maybe that just okay. Anyway,
Sarib, he's in a different mood now. Be careful.
Where's Thiago come from? Where has that come from?
Because he's elite of the elite, innit? And I didn't want him sold, even though he played 15 games.
You know what? You know this question. Ask that to Gina about Thiago. I'm the wrong person to ask. Ask Gina about Thiago next time.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'll put that on my to-do list.
Chelsea, we've got plenty of time to talk about Chelsea, Sarib. How do you see Liverpool over the next course of the next 2-3 months? It's the business end of the season now, isn't it? Let's assess where we are in the new year. And I've seen this graphic about a million times, whether it's on social media, different TV channels. All they're showing is Liverpool's next 10 fixtures.
Yeah,
how do you see them going?
Got them up. So we've got. I'm just going to go through the fixtures that we've got. We've got Chelsea at home, RB Leipzig away, Arsenal away, Brighton away, Brighton home, Leverkusen home, Villa home, Southampton away, Real Madrid at home, Manchester City at home. Now, I think we're all in agreement that the first 10 games for Liverpool, it's not a surprise where we are, but it is as well, because in terms of the teams we're beating, like we should be beating those teams wherever we are in the league. Like we played the likes of Bournemouth, Wolves, etc. Forest, we should have been. And I think that Forest game lives rent free in his head. He doesn't do an interview without mentioning Nottingham Forest, or alludes to that game. So I do respect him for that. But Asim, we are getting to now the nitty gritty. I think this run of games goes until the start of December, so it is quite a lot of games that we have to play, especially away. We're going to the Emirates, we're going to Leipzig, and we're going to Brighton, and we struggled there last season, especially at Brighton away and Arsenal away. So it is now it's time to put the balls on our table, especially like. I think this is going to be this run of games, Asim. These next 10 games are going to define whether Liverpool are a real team or we're in a transition team. I think it is a bit of both, but this will truly define the real quality of this team. I know some people think we're going to win the quadruple and the World Cup and the European Championships and the Women's Championship.
How far off are we from the top two?
Not far, but I don't.
His tunes changed.
No, we're not far. But
at
we're
the
not
beginning of the season, you said, they're the top of Europe. Those two are the best team. We're not going to go anywhere near them. No, so these were your words. Don't go back.
No,
it's good that you're becoming positive.
You're never as far as you think, and I've said that on previous shows. But I don't think we're close to winning the league title. You can make a point as to say why you're saying that we're not close to winning the league title, because we spent millions of days last season on top of the league, and that's very, very fair. But ultimately, the quality of other teams always comes through, and the mentality of our team showcased, and which is why we didn't ultimately get over the line. And I don't think that can be addressed in one season, especially on top of the fact that we've got a new coach, new coaching staff. A lot of changes happened at Liverpool. Maybe not the squad, but it's new ideas, new tactics, etc., etc., etc. Now, I've also said this on the stream before that if Jurgen Klopp was the manager of Liverpool, I'd have us in a title race, because he'd have a season he'd have a season with these players. They'd get to know him a bit better. So was like McAllister, Gravenberch, etc., etc. Bear in mind, Jones has known him from very, very young. Salah, Diaz, Nunez, etc.
So you're saying if we had Jurgen Klopp right now, we'd have more of a chance?
I agree. Yes,
I don't agree with that.
I've said this as well. Because
I don't agree with that.
You don't agree with that?
Yeah, I think the journey had to come to an end when it did. I think that message, relaying that message back to this team after so many years, I think it waned. Hence, I think Slot has come in with fresh ideas, with a fresh backroom staff, and I think the team has benefited and they've elevated themselves another level. I don't think Gravenberch will be playing the position where he is now with Jurgen Klopp. I think.
I think we'd have gone and signed a destroyer midfielder that Klopp likes in the summer. I think we would have probably gone for, I don't know, Paulinho, for example, someone like that. I can't think, but someone of that mold where they can break up play, and then you have Mako, whoever's playing on the left and right. I personally do believe, though, Jurgen Klopp has the nous of winning trophies at Liverpool. He gets the best out of his players. He gets that extra yard out of his players, and he did it up until, you know.
Well, isn't Arnie Slot? I know it's a small sample size, but isn't Arnie Slot showing that as well?
Yeah, but that's what. Yes, but that's why I can't say definitely.
In a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. His style of play is a bit different, but I can't say yes as him because of the sample size. That's what I'm saying.
Only got to look at his record at Feyenoord and the team that he had at Feyenoord, where he was getting players to perform, players that had been there for a few years. He comes in and he got the best out of him. Look at the work he did with Santiago Giménez, the striker from Mexico. He had Weaver, he had some good players. Gastrida, the right back, who liked to invert as well. He can get the best out of his squad. And he's doing the same with Liverpool. We're seeing a different Diaz, we're seeing a different Gakpo, we've seen a different Gravenberch. Heck, even Van Dijk's gone another level, if that was ever possible. Konate's remained fit,
Regardless of the opposition that we're playing, the players have been playing really, really well. But you also have to hinder in the fact that we are playing opposition that are generally weaker that we probably would have beaten last season anyway. So that's why I've said many, many times, I will fairly assess this team, not this season, but I will have a better judgment of where we'll be this season after these 10 matches. And I think that's very, very fair. I think me having that is fair because we are playing some very, very good teams in that period of time. I think that's when we'll do this. And people are saying Slot is unknown to this league, Sarib, and that's why I can't say yes or no. And I think that's very, very fair. That's why I'm not going to say yes now or no now. But it's more no because of last season and because this team's proven that they can't go the whole way. But I could be wrong because you can say that they're going to have an extra season. These players are going to know the league, and you can say yes to that. And those 8 games showcase why we could be up there. But I just don't think we will be, and I won't say yes yet. But if after these 10 games we come out unscathed and we say, for example, we have 2 draws and we win the rest, then I'll hold my hands up and say, yeah, this team's in a title race. And people are saying Slot's a better coach than Jurgen Klopp, and that's a difference of opinion. But I think Klopp man management is far better. I think he gets the best out of his players, and he's done it for 8-9 years. He knows the league a lot better. Maybe he could have got us in the league because even Keane, he had Liverpool to win the league last season. Why? Because of Jurgen Klopp. And maybe I would have said we're Liverpool going to win the league.
I think making comparisons with Slot and
I think it's unfair.
It's unfair. It's unfair on Slot, and it's disrespect to Jurgen Klopp.
Let him stay a few years first.
That's what I said.
Exactly.
I also said Slot.
What I would say, Sarib, like after Liverpool's downfall last season, I know there was missed chances and everything, but we all agreed that there was defensive issues, structural issues with Liverpool. And would you say that was the biggest thing or the biggest area of improvement for someone or anyone, whether it was a Slot or any other manager coming in to make those improvements? And he's making those improvements 100%, 8-9 games. We will see when we play the better opposition. Yeah. And let's see how we come out of those games. But we can only judge him as to what we've seen. And we've seen control. We've seen Liverpool playing on their own terms. I had a quick look before we came on show. Last season, Liverpool were conceding 12 shots on goal. I'm not talking about the quality of shots, general shots on goal. Now Liverpool this season are facing 8.5 shots on goal. So that's a massive improvement in how many shots Liverpool. You face a shot and the opposition don't score. So that is one area of really encouragement for me where he's highlighted the issues and he's rectifying them.
Is that sample size just based on the 8 games? But is that a 38 to 8 game comparison?
No, it's just on Liverpool's games this season.
Okay.
Compared to last season.
The first 8.
Yeah, I think generally the title winning teams, Sarib, face around 6 to 8 per game. If you want to win the title, that's where you have to be. And Liverpool are around 8.5 at the moment. But they were around 11-12 last season.
Okay, yeah.
Last season we also conceded.
We have defensive.
We conceded first, 22 occasions. We were the team that conceded first.
Of course, that's improved. And look, I have a stat right here. In Liverpool 23-24, Asim, they kept 10 clean sheets in 38 Premier League games. Yeah, Liverpool 24-25 have 5 clean sheets in 7.
Yeah.
So even from that sample size, you can see that is an area that's been improved because look. 10 clean sheets in 38 games and 5 and 7. We still play the same teams that we're playing this season, last season. We were conceding goals to them, but we're not doing that this season. Likes of Bournemouth came to Anfield and scored, were able to score, even though maybe they should have had a goal this season. But generally, 5 clean sheets in 7 games is an exceptional return, especially where we were last season. I think that's one area Slot has improved, and you can say maybe that sample is definite as to where we might be in come May. But my whole issue is not the way Liverpool are as a team right now, is the fact that we've got too much new in the team, and we haven't improved the team from last season.
Breaking news. Paul Joyce, Liverpool closing on new deals for Jarell Quansah and Ibrahima Kanate. Talks are underway to extend the contracts of the two defenders, but the club is still at an impasse with Mohamed Salah, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Virgil van Dijk. There's a big article on here. Do you want me to read it just a bit? The Liverpool defender Quansah is close to agreeing a new long-term contract, and talks are also underway with Ibrahima Kanate regarding an extension to his deal. So they're close to Quansah and in talks with Kanate. Arnie Slot said on Friday there's no update on Van Dijk, Salah, and Trent. I'm just trying to skim through and get the main bits here.
Anything on Zubimendi?
Mate.
Kanate was that's what it's a really small article. So no update in regards to the main three, but we're close to agreeing a deal with Quansah and in talks with Kanate and close to agreeing a deal with Quansah. Is this encouragement, or do you think why are we close to agreeing talks with these two, but what's happening with the main three?
Not long now is what we were told. Not long now when it came to Trent Alexander-Arnold. And you said it's we're at impasse.
Yeah.
Impasse with all contracts, all three.
Yeah.
It's of course it's concerning. I said, look, if we get into October last week and we're still talking about those three players, then I would start to worry. And it's weird that we're now negotiating and maybe extending Quansah and Kanate. Maybe they're not as complicated deals as these three are. Asim, maybe with the mid-rights and whatnot, I don't know. But of course, you want Quansah and Kanate committing as well. That is a little bit of encouragement, but it's not the news that we want to hear when it comes to renewing contracts, especially as talk of the town has been Salah, Trent, and Virgil.
On a more positive note, though, Asim, I think Ibu Kanate is one of the contracts that we should have been looking at already, because he is going to be, I think he's got 2 years left on his contract, I think, come next summer. It's very similar to what Salah's situation was in 2021-22, where he was going into 1 year left on his deal in the summer. And obviously getting this done for Ibu, I think it's important, because he is going to be one player that's going to be, I'm sure a lot of the top European clubs are going to be looking at Ibu Kanate, because very young centre-back, profile is ridiculous. Aerially is very, very impressive. But I think David Lynch did a little report on it, saying that I think it is a concern that Liverpool have allowed Ibu Kanate's contract to go into this. But we say this about Ibu, Avi, but isn't he another player that we look at and be like, can he stay fit for a whole season? Is that one player we could be selling, especially with the emergence of Jarell Quansah and Ibu Kanate's situation? Because we have to keep consistent. If you're saying Alisson can't keep fit for a whole season, surely we have to keep energy for Ibu Kanate, regardless of his quality.
Yeah, but Kanate is also 24, isn't he? 24, 25, so he's still young. Sometimes your body...
Make it worse, though. It doesn't make it worse if you're getting injuries at a younger age, because when you get older...
No, sometimes you're still growing. He's a growing lad. We signed him when he was 22, and he's a big fella. Muscle injuries are prone. He had muscle injuries at Leipzig as well. It does look as though this season he's playing 3 games in a week and playing full 90 minutes. It does seem that we might have found a remedy and a solution to the injuries that he was getting. But yeah, he's certainly a player that, if we can rotate where we can rotate, he'll be one of them as well.
Yeah.
Actually, you seem a bit sort of despondent a little bit.
Look, this is not based on any information, Avi. I've always been concerned whenever your big players enter the final. What are you smirking for?
No, you like using that word, concern, worry.
I am concerned. Why wouldn't you be concerned?
I'm concerned. I'm concerned about especially Trent and
It
Look,
could
I
be a
said two
standoff.
out of the three will leave. I know 2 out of the 3 will stay, 1 will leave. Let's see. And with Carvajal being injured yesterday, maybe Real Madrid are gonna start putting the foot down. Never know.
See, the Google definition for impasse is a situation in which no progress is possible.
No, it could be anything. It could be a stalemate. It could be a standoff. It could be a disagreement.
That's what it
could
says.
be-
The definition is a situation in which no progress is possible, especially because of disagreement, a deadlock. Now, I don't want to.
Yeah, but you can have a deadlock and then you can have a compromise after that, can't you?
I think
But
it's
there's still time. There's
into
still
the
time.
nitty gritty. Asim, I think there is a general concern. I'm still optimistic that all 3 will sign. I believe that all 3 will sign
No,
contracts.
all 3 won't sign.
But
Sorry, I shouldn't be talking hypothetically.
it's again,
I think two out of the 3 will stay. I think Salah leaves, and I'm kind of comfortable with that.
The only concern now is that Carvalho's just done his ACL, and Real Madrid are in for a right back in January.
But they won't get him. They won't get Trent in January.
No, but they'll probably pre-contract agreement with him because he can start talking to clubs in January. That's why I'm a bit concerned now.
If you wanted to, they can start talking now. You don't think he's been tapped up already? If he was going to be an interest of Real Madrid, come on, these clubs know what they're doing. Agents know what they're doing. His brother is negotiating for him. Let's see what happens.
It's just a bit weird. Why is Giroud and Ibu news coming out? Maybe it's because we want to keep it under wraps.
Maybe their deals aren't as complex as the other 3. Those other 3 deals, you can imagine them because of the longevity of the club. They're probably more complicated deals. You've got to remember sponsorship rights, image rights, and all that. Those 3 players have got locked in contracts with whoever sponsors. I think there's a lot more things to wrap up. Whereas Kwanzaa's he's a youngster, he's a newbie. He's probably, he's a local lad. He's signing his contract, and Konate, I don't think it's that complicated.
It's a very Liverpool thing to do, as a minute. Like you sign the players that probably don't need contract extensions at the moment, rather than the players that actually need some. Like with the Chiesa, we needed a 6, and then you go get us a winger when you have 5 other attackers. It's a very Liverpool thing to do. I'm not surprised, but I'm going to be a Mr. Positive because Gene wants me to be a bit more positive. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Virgil van Dijk, and Mohamed Salah will stay at Liverpool.
Virgil van Dijk is definitely staying at Liverpool.
Okay.
VVD is staying.
Okay.
I don't know about the other 2. If you asked me a month ago, I was 90% that Trent would stay. I'm 50-50 now.
Ooh.
50-50.
Yeah. Not confident in Trent.
I think Van Dijk is more, it'll get done. But I think there's a chess game even between the players, not directly, but I think Van Dijk is probably thinking, okay, you sort out Trent first, and then I'll talk. I'll see where I'll come back to you. There's a bit that going, isn't there? Especially with Trent, where he wants parity with the big players now.
They could, and he should. And look, this whole structure of Richard Hughes coming in, look, it'll be devastating if none of those 3 sign. Imagine that going to next summer, those 3 are leaving. And then I've said Alisson's leaving as well. Imagine that. But look, I think 2 out of the 3 will stay. You could say that it could be a hard bargaining. Each player is looking out for each other, but at the same time looking at what the other's being offered. I hope to think that that isn't the case, but you never know. It's a bit of a monopoly, really.
There's another update, guys. Breaking news. Chris Bascom, Mohamed Salah, Van Dijk, and Alexander-Arnold out of contract at the end of the season, but reaching an agreement which suits all parties has so far proven difficult. Avi, when the journals come out at once, it's normally because they've been told something.
Yeah, it's not, like I said, it's not looking good. It's not looking good, especially going into the international break. It's not good.
Oh.
We've got to go. Is actually not dropping some voice notes or something. Let's see what happens. I'm not saying anything. Look, I'm the last person that wants to speculate about contracts. I'm not confident on Trent. That's all I'll say.
This is really going to piss me off now.
Chalo, okay, look, I think we just need to digest that news. There'll be plenty coming out tomorrow as well. I was trying to get you some more. I text a few people, but it looks like they're in bed as well. So okay, let's see what happens tomorrow. And I think this.
How bad would it look, Asim, if all 3 were to leave next summer?
Plus Alisson.
it would be criminal, Avi. Unforgivable.
Fabrizio's tweeted apparently.
No, he's tweeted about Konate. He's saying Konate is expected to sign a new contract. Konate is happy at Liverpool. That's what he said. But it's Chris Bascom. He's questionable at times, but
Is he? Okay, I don't know the guy. Okay. Let's see.
It's not the word that you want to hear, is it? Impasse and deadlock and stalemate, and it's proven to be difficult. It's not. And look, if Joyce is reporting it, Bascom's come out. Someone's been a bit of a naughty boy and been a bit of a whistleblower. So let's see what happens in the next sort of 48, 72 hours. It's not a good look, though. Look, guys, as much as we try to be positive, going into October, and none of the three that we want have re-signed, or there's been any positive signs that saying, yeah, we want to. Well, the players have come out and said we want to stay. Trent has said something difficult, saying that if I sign, it's not going to be out in the public while we negotiate. Okay, fair enough, but it's not a good look, Asim. It's never a good look. And we usually were good with contracts when it came to renewing and stuff. We usually were good, and we would do this whole unveiling in this video. But yeah, it's not good.
Okay. Right, let's go. I think we were gonna touch on Liverpool's three best performers, but I think we should leave that on the next show.
And just on those 10 games, I know Sarib had his say on those 10 games that are coming up. Asim, as much as those games are a bit daunting, I'm relishing those games as well. Bayer Leverkusen at home, Leipzig away will be a good game. City, Chelsea, Arsenal. I know that will be a bit of an emotional one on this channel for many a reason, but I'm relishing. These are what we support the teams for. This is what we want. We want to play the best, and let's see how good this lot team actually is. Pearce is apparently James Pearce.
James Pearce, that's not good, is it?
What's Jimbo said?
Oh no. Let's have a look. Let's have a little squaddle. It's just Jarrell Kwanzaa. He's set to sign. Jarrell Kwanzaa's done. That's what he said. Jarrell Kwanzaa is set to sign a new long-term deal. Liverpool opened preliminary discussions with Ibu Konate over an extension. Reward for Kwanzaa's impressive development over the last 12 months. So Kwanzaa, you can tick off the list.
Right here, we've got a troll in the account in the chat. This lad Abid is saying he's the worst referee in non-league. I don't know where he's refereeing up and down the country on those mud baths. But wherever he comes, and I'm not here, just make sure you chuck him out. You don't need to.
I think Abid's
no. Abid, I like a few messages here and there, but this lad is just relentless. He's telling every match of the day he's on. He's going to affect viewership, Abid.
Fabrizio's tweeted about Kwanzaa as well.
Who?
Abid.
Okay, I think they're all going to go, isn't it? I think that the main news has come from Paul Joyce, and everyone else is just reporting off the back of that, if I'm really honest. But let's see. I think we need to go and check the definition of impasse and look into what exactly it means.
No. Did you see what Pearce just said on Info Sector?
Go on.
Dialogue with the representatives of VVD, Trent and Salah remain open and ongoing. James Pearce.
Of course. That's what I mean. It's not a complete deadlock.
It's a closed chapter. I think it's a closed chapter. Yeah,
I think it's just a back and forth. It's just normal negotiations going on here. The players have.
Look at Ali, I'm gonna kill you one day. Why do you put like 5-6 times Anfield Sector? Well, the one time is fine. Wasting fucking keyboard energy, man.
Ash says good PR. Give us 2 new deals as the other 3 are stalling to sign.
Maybe they're giving us a taste.
I don't think that's good PR.
Maybe they're giving us a small sample size, and then
I think it's poor PR, to be honest. Because those 2 names, yes, we love Konate and Kwanzaa, but they're not the names that we want to be hearing when it comes to contract renewals.
Okay, brilliant.
Not long now. That's all I'll say. Not long now. That's my 3 favorite words now. Not long now.
The troll says, ask him wrap it up. Asim is going to oblige for once.
He's telling me to go do research and bring the summary back.
Oh, I won't listen to him. I won't listen. Once I asked him, because I thought this guy told a good game. Let's ask him about what happened in the game. Guess what he did? He went on the internet, went on Sky Sports, and pulled their match report and just changed a few words and sent it to me, not knowing I'd already sent that or read that. Sorry,
guys.
I sent back to him. I said, "Is that what you?"
Abid, you can't hustle the hustler.
exactly.
Happy birthday to
We've given him enough attention.
happy birthday to Trent Alexander-Arnold tomorrow, by the way.
I'm not gonna shag you, mate.
Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Maybe he signs a contract on his birthday. You never know. Okay, brilliant. That's 1 hour 34 of all things Liverpool. I'm sure we enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. Give us the sponsors a click. We should be mentioning them a lot more. Schnuckerlig.com. Go check out their Liverpool merchandise. Use the 10% BNR 10 code and enjoy yourselves at 10% discount. I'm sure a few of you have been messaging and said, they've ordered a few stuff on there. So check them out and, show them a bit of love and a bit of support as well. Thank you very much to my guests, Avi and Sarib. My guests, no, my brothers, I should be saying, pardon me.
Yes.
And for all of you guys for engaging with ourselves tonight. Let's see what happens. It's a big 2 weeks for Liverpool. Not on the pitch, but off the pitch. There'll be plenty of updates coming your way over the next 14 days or so. Until that, is it 12:30 or 5:30 against Chelsea? I don't care.
8:30. 4:30. 4:30. 8:30 in the morning for me.
Next Sunday game.
Sorted. Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. We shall see you very, very soon. Take care and ta-ra for now.